Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on Simpsons Comics issue number 60. Now, as you know, Simpsons comics were meant to be a Simpson comic version of The Simpsons, the same way Bongo Comics did Futurama, and also Radioactive Man and Bartman. So the issue is meant to have how Waylon Smithers is kind of made Homer's personal assistant. And I would say the story does feel like a sequel to Homer the Smithers, but in a different story. And let's get on the story. It starts off with Lenny and Carl saying, "I can't believe it. I never thought Homer would cash in his chips." And we kind of see how, Homer's basically winning, saying, "As safety inspector, I should really check that alarm. It might be important." And we kind of see how, they point out that the alarm was kind of going off 2 hours ago, and that Homer's been basically using it for his advantage. And we see how Waylon Smithers, as well as Burns, comes in, and Homer says, "Please, it's the boss!" And we see how, Burns had kind of got them now trapped, and tries to learn more about this poker game and that. And we decide that, Mr. Burns wants to play, and basically gets rid of Gil, who was kind of crashing in. And we kind of see how Coral says, "Well, Mr. Burns, sir, I guess the first thing we do is ante up a buck." "Indeed. Can anyone break a cells in dollars bills? Do you have anything smaller?" And we kind of see how, Mr. Burns decides to bet Smithers, which is basically slavery and technically illegal in every part of the world. And we see how, they decide to kind of make sure that they end up don't losing. And we see how Homer basically wins and gets to have Smithers as his own personal assistant. So we kind of see how Homer decides to task Smithers with doing his job as safety inspector. And we see Smithers realising that Homer was just pretty bad at his job. And even tries to show Burns the reports and basically gets Smithers fired. And we see Smithers saying, I just can't tell you how sorry I am." "Relax, if I didn't get fired every few weeks, I'd never get to see the kids." So we decide how Smithers becomes Homer's new assistant. And we kind of see Marge saying,
"So Homer, will Mr. Smithers be staying for dinner?"
"Yeah, sure, whatever. Hey, how about a beer?"
"Here you go, Homer."
And we see how, Smithers does everything Marge does, but better. And even gets more and more frustrated that Smithers is making Marge look bad. And we kind of see how Marge voices that it kind of seems like she's being used as a sort of way to get for approval. And Homer says, "I know, isn't it great?"
"Almost done with the windows, then I'll tuck you in."
"I'll be waiting." And we see how Mr. Burns is pretty much furious that he doesn't have an assistant for all the important stuff. And we see how as soon as Bart gets in, Mr. Burns makes Bart his new assistant. And we see how, after doing groceries, Smithers basically gets the food, has the carpet sort of steamed and pressed, and the pets sprayed and neutered. And we see Marge saying,
"Now, you listen to me, mister. Excuse me, my husband needs me."
And we kind of see Marge so upset that she now feels betrayed by Homer's constant need for approval. And we see how Bart at the power plant gives Mr. Burns ideas on how to do with the plant, and even meets some big-time celebrity stars. And we even see how Bart is given a special card by Mr. Burns called Demonic Immunity. And we see how Smithers decides to move into the Simpson house with all his Malibu Stacy dolls. And we kind of see how, he basically wants to prove that he can do better than her, but is also repulsed by the idea about being the assistant of Homer, but still wants to do his best. And we kind of see how Bart decides to give Mr. Burns ideas about how to make the power plant better by doing paintball, and even basically comes up with a new strategy. And we see how Smithers makes Homer better clothes, and even uses crusty chicken to cause the clothes to explode. And we see everyone paintballing, and turns out the paint that they've been using is meant to be used in a well-ventilated area. And we see how everyone becomes delirious and all that. And we see how, yeah, Marge goes to the Clip and Save salon, where she basically meets Smithers. And we see how they both basically point insults at each other. And we see the salon guy saying, "Oh my heavens, what a cat fight!"
Someone should stop that before those two kitties get hurt.
I'll do it. I finished my haircut already. Besides, I need to get home. I rented Homer's favorite cyborg cowboy gorilla movie.
And we see how, yeah, Burns basically gets the idea from Bart to add soda machines in arcade games. And we see how everyone decides to take control of the power plant and decide to worship Lenny and Carl as gods. And we see how, yeah, Homer kind of sees that the Smithers has basically Malibu Stacy stuff. And we see him being amazed by a sort of bake oven. And after a while, yeah, things have gotten out of control, and Lenny gets shut inside the men's room. And we see Homer saying, let's see. Uh-oh! And we see Smithers realising to his shock and horror, Homer basically melted all of his dolls, and making it the last straw, and decides to quit. And after the power plant stuff, we see Smithers realising to his shock and horror the chaos that ensued, and basically decides to go back to being Mr. Burns' assistant. And we see how Bart's now lost his demonic immunity, making him basically now Skinner's basically target again. And we see how after restoring things back to normal, Lenny is basically now made Queen of Sector 4G by the giant mutated ants. And after this, we kind of see how Homer and Moe now fight for Marge's approval, much to her happiness. And yeah, this is issue 60. I think if this was worked a bit more as a Simpson episode, I think it could definitely work, because I think I could have seen the episode where basically Spurn sets up a contest for basically one of the power plant workers to have Smithers as an assistant to one of the power plant workers for a month, and having Homer win and deciding what to do with Smithers. It would have worked as a story, but I think it still deserves thumbs in the middle. A good story with some hidden potential. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.